today before we go to questions. First thing is just want to say God is good. It's been a very challenging week for a lot of folks within the program, especially folks that were here back in November of 22. And man, everybody wanted to have a day like today in remembrance of Lavelle, Devin, and Deshaun. And it's so fitting I was made aware that the last time UVA scored 55 points was a game that Lavelle and Deshaun actually scored touchdowns in. And so just super proud of the staff, super proud of the players in the locker room for taking ownership of something that they really didn't know or understand. But they know that they got Virginia on the chest, and they said they're going to carry the burden. And what we wanted to do today was to just bring glory to those guys' legacy. Man, it's still extremely difficult. 3 years later, I know how hard it is for me. I can't imagine, what it's like for the families to still. So it's great to see some of them back in town, and great to have Mike and Marty back, and really have a celebration. And it was awesome to see the guys perform in such a way as to kind of make it right. 55, and those guys scored the last time we did that. So just super proud of the staff, the players on their performance all week.
Anybody has questions, raise your hand. We'll get you a mic. We'll start here with Jeff.
You got a lot of guys on the roster who practice hard but typically don't get an opportunity to play. To be able to win the way you did today, but also play as many guys as you did, does that make it even more satisfying?
It's huge. It's huge because it's an opportunity for those guys to be rewarded for the hard work that they put in. And we're going to need them in competitive, tight games down the stretch. In ACC play, we're going to need those guys at some point in time. And so it's so great to reward them, but then also gain valuable experience. And man, they're going to get coached just as hard as the starters when we get on the film on Monday as a group. But just super happy to be able to have a game where you can play the bulk of your roster.
So Greg and Jack.
Yeah, the way the game started with Cam Jordan's touchdown on the reverse, what kind of tone did that set, especially with the way you had blockers out in front of them, Boley and
right.
Wilson and Twitty?
I think it's just a little insight into the locker room. We had a cool moment. I had to tip my hat because in all my time as a play caller, I never had a game with that many yards in it. And so I tipped my hat to Coach Kitch and the offensive staff and the players, and man, they threw Coach Kitch up on their shoulders, and it was just awesome to see that moment, because that tells me that those guys believe. And so when your offensive linemen are out there on the reverse, they believe in the plan, they believe in the player, and they believe that with proper execution, it's going to result in a touchdown. So it's just awesome to see those guys. And overall, that was the mindset that I wanted this group to show up. And I told the senior leadership, point blank, I said, look, we're going to find out a lot about our football team this week. How mature are we? Are we going to be able to show up and play to a standard, or are we going to show up and play to an opponent? And I felt like they came out ready to go in all three phases, trying to establish a standard. And that's what we're chasing every single week, right? As great as this game was and is on paper, we're going to enjoy it for tonight. But you know what? Next week, we're trying to play an even better game. Every week, we're trying to chase our best game as a team. So I think it's just a testament to the guys believing in each other, believing in their preparation, and having some fun out on the field.
For the first time since 2013, two running backs finished with over 100 yards rushing with both Harrison and Noah. What have you learned from that running back room, and do you have an update on Noah? Yeah, so update on Noah is components of a high ankle, but we'll get more detail. Look like as far as I know, the X-rays look good. We'll just see how it swells within the morning. We got some reassurance walking out from Doc that he probably going to be okay. Don't know a timetable yet. I don't know by the time we have a press conference on Tuesday. It's just a competitive group, and what they're doing is they're embracing the competition, and it's making each one of them better. And so they're not pressing, but when they go out there, they're just ready and they're prepared. And so Coach Gaither's done a great job of just having those guys not worry about how many touches, but worry about the standard of performance at the running back room. And really, I'm at a place where throw any one of them out there. I don't know. To me, it doesn't have to be a certain one. Put them all in there, let them play, because they're proving that they understand what we're doing, and they can go out there and execute at a high level.
Yeah, before the season, I asked you about Dez and just how he's developed as a coach over these last couple of years. What have you seen from him collectively through these first 3 games of the season?
Well, I've always been a big fan of Coach Kitch, and he's a football guy, and I said that before. Like, he loves football, he knows it at the highest level. It's awesome to see everything coming together now. You're starting to see the cohesion, because there were times where we were good in spots, and now you're starting to see it all kind of mesh together. And he's learning how to kind of tailor it to the skill set that he has, which has been really fun to watch, because I think that's kind of been the difference, with what we're doing. Is now he's got a better feel for the guys that he has, and he can put together certain packages for certain guys, and knew that, like, hey, that was a call for Cam Courtney. We were going to put Cam Courtney in there because he's probably the best on the reverse, type of play. And so he's just able to call it free because he's got more pieces to work with.
Whaley came here with a pretty impressive body of work. He did not get in the game last week in Raleigh. How did he handle that, and did that tell you anything about him?
First of all, I apologize to him. We should have got him in the game, but he handled it well. And to be honest with you, he didn't even know that he was the active leading rusher in college football with over 3,200 yards, and he handled it great. He didn't complain. He didn't say anything. He just showed back up to work, and he is who he is. That's what I like about him, man. He's got such an even keel temperament. He's never too high, never too low. Shows up every single day. Asks good questions. He handled it like a pro, and I think that's made the difference because Jamari's done the same thing. He's handled his business that way, and then X and Noah have done that. So he handled it the right way. But we should have got him in the game, and it just, I love how the football guys work. Right? So then he comes out, and now not only is he the active leading rusher in college football, he's now got a record at UVA at 3 touchdowns. So because he was humble and handled it the right way, I believe he was rewarded the right way.
Mike?
Coach, what was the plan in terms of quarterback usage today, and what did you see from Daniel Catlin? What was your confidence in him?
Yeah, so the plan was to try and get him into some good competitive work in the first half, and thought that Chandler and the guys made that possible. Got in there and was moving the ball, and right there in that clutch, he was ready to go on that clutch drive, and we get him hit, and we have the 2 false starts. I think he was going to be able to move us down the field in that clutch situation there, but we had the 2 snap infraction deals that were running clocks with 10-second runoffs, and he didn't get to. But I was pleased. Put the ball on the money for the most part. Even Cole got in there and converted a 3rd down. I mean, to finish above 50% on 3rd down with 3 different quarterbacks in a game like that shows the ability for those guys to run the system.
Jack?
Coach, so much went well today. Out of everything you did see, though, what did you see that made you most proud of this team today?
Most proud is just a workmanlike mentality. They showed up ready to work. Okay, when circumstances could have created otherwise, right? You're playing an FCS opponent. You got UVA strong going on. Ton of distractions, and kind of could have been feeling sorry for yourself for last week, coming up short, and they just showed up from the gate. Today and yesterday, with all of our meetings, everything started early by 5 minutes. And our pregame meal, everybody was dressed and ready to go. And not that we've had any issues, but normally, you start right on time. But today, everything was early by 5 minutes, and the buses were packed and ready to go. The guys showed up. Their energy and pregame was very businesslike, which is a good thing to see and feel as a coach, because you know that your senior leadership, right, is really taking charge of the locker room.
All the way back there.
Coach, I'm curious how you approach coaching a week of practice after a dominant win like this. Is there anything from this game that you learned from and applied to prepare for a Power 5 opponent?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of mistakes we got to correct. Right, so we're gonna go back to work and get those things corrected. We're gonna have a little fun on Monday like we normally do. Fun's in the winning. So when we win, we get a little extra highlight tape. But after that, it's right back to work. It's mindset Monday, and that's what I've learned in my experience. That was the difference. That it doesn't matter who you're playing. It doesn't matter where you're playing. It doesn't matter what uniform combination you're wearing. It doesn't matter the circumstances. you prepare to a standard. You treat every game as if it's the national championship. And if you do that, then you give yourself the best chance to, win enough games to eventually potentially get there. So we're going to go right back to work. So when we go in on Monday, we're going to be honest. I mean, we're going to get an evaluation of coaches. Right, there's things that I got to do better. The coaching staff has to do better. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, did we hit our standard of performance from a grading standpoint? We 85% is the grading threshold, right? How many guys on the team hit that? And so we're going to go back on to focusing on, us and how we can get better, and not making it about Stanford or in this conference play, right? And so these guys, they got a big dream. And so our second goal as a team is on the table, and that's to win the conference opener. The first one is to win the season opener. The second is to win the conference opener, and that's what we're going to focus on. So we're going to go back to work. And based off of what I saw last week, I think these guys have the maturity. Now we got to help, right? As coaches, we got to make sure. And guess what? You know what I'll do? I'll go through the locker room. I'll look for trash on the floor, right? I'll look for the alignment of the helmets in pre-practice, and just going back to the little things. And that's how we approach it.
To your left, Coach.
Coach, the offensive line has done a great job of generating positive plays, whether it's blocking on the run or stopping sacks. They really haven't really allowed any sacks this year at all. I don't think any sacks. When you got like 8 or 9 guys in throughout the games, how have you been able to keep that consistency with so many line changes on the offensive line?
First, I think Coach Heffernan does a phenomenal job, and I float around throughout the course of the week, but I also find myself spending a lot of time just going into the offensive line meeting room just because I love the way that he teaches the guys, both technically and schematically. And those guys understand that it's a fist. It's 5 as 1, right? 5 is strong together. And it doesn't matter who's in there. And I think they believe in the quarterbacks, that they have. They understand that the quarterback is the program. We've got to protect the program at all costs. And so it's just been awesome to see that everybody is straining to hold that standard when they're put in the game.
Right.
Tony, the first play of the game, right, kickoff, Lou Sparks, looks like maybe clipped the ground when he was kicking it. We are not having him back there for punts, but what's his status and what's his...
Yeah, so we'll know more, just kind of strained his hip flexor a little bit, and we just wanted to be cautious. And, took him in the tent, did an evaluation, and then we, luckily we didn't pump much, and then Slybeck did a great job coming in and putting the ball in the end zone there. We'll know more, but right now it's preliminary, just kind of a hip flexor strain, and we wanted to be smart with this part.
All right, let's do 2 more.
So you already talked about it a little bit, but Cam Courtney was your offense for the year last year. You really kind of the offseason. And after the season opener, you really that ball. You talked about wanting to get more going in the offense. So how do you feel about his performance today, and how do you see that reflected in what work you put in?
Yeah, so I think he accepted the challenge because Cam knows that, man, I'm hard on him. He's a guy that comes from a great high school program that's used to winning championships, and a big reason why we wanted him in our program was to bring that type of leadership and toughness, and saw it last year, and then kind of hit a little spell where he dropped the ball or 2 and wasn't at his best, and then we challenged him. We just said, man, you're better than that. We expect better than that, and just the way that you fix it is go back to work, and that's what he did. And so happy to see him, but he's going to learn from letting that ball hit the ground on kickoff too. So even though he got the reverse for the touchdown, we got to work on making sure that we don't let that ball hit the ground. So be opportunities to continue to coach him, and hopefully this boosts his confidence because we're going to need him. He's a really, really good football player, and today we were able to highlight some other guys, but we're going to need all of them. Cam Ross, Jamal, Trail, all the way down to Dylan and Isaiah. And Josiah, the freshman that we have, first year guys. So just got to go back to work, and we're going to need all of them. And that's why today was great for them to get some valuable snaps and have a little bit of success.
Let's go with Ed and then finish with Greg.
You mentioned playing to a standard quite a lot today. The amount of new faces on this roster, confident? Were you concerned? What was your thought, and how were you and the coaching staff envisioning that they would actually be able to achieve playing to a standard?
Right. So what we've seen over the last 8 months with this group, to me, has been phenomenal. And y'all know that I was probably one of the biggest skeptics of kind of where college football was heading with the transfer portal and building a roster that way. And, but this has been an exceptional group of young men that have won me over, right? From the way that they've come together and the way that they practice, the way that they push each other, the way that they cheer for each other. And so, the expectation was that they were going to come out and play to the standard, and then they were going to hold each other accountable. And I think that's what you saw for a good portion of the game. Still opportunities to grow, and we're not there yet. And to be honest with you, as I told the team in the locker room, I said, "What have we accomplished?" They said, "Nothing. We're going right back to work." Right? We won a football game, had some success, but we still haven't reached that best game. And that's what we're going to be chasing. That's kind of the standard every week, is we're chasing our best game in all three phases of complementary football.
Greg?
Yeah, run defense was better today than last week. What did you see there that you thought was improved?
I thought tackling was better. Guys fitting their gaps, safeties triggering, and just doing their job and doing it at a high level and with a lot of confidence.
All right, thanks everybody. We appreciate it.